when we were reporting Kosovo, we had 12 million, 15 million people watching every night. Now it's 2.
We have to stop there. I'm saying that to Kosovars a lot, and I want to note this moment. Why, with everything going on in the world, did editors in London do this? Because today I watched the news of the BBC, and sometimes Ukraine never makes it throughout the week. I'm baffled. There's a war going on in Europe, and often it never makes it in 9 o'clock news, in BBC News throughout the day. Why is this?
The world has a attention span for only one thing at a time, and Gaza is so clearly, such a big story at the moment. And I mean, it's very striking because I've worked a lot after the time I spent here, and after 2001, I spent a lot of time working on and writing about Afghanistan. And it was very striking in Afghanistan. They had their 18 months in the sun after 9/11, and then the Iraq War happened. And they knew, Afghans knew that they were then off the map. And again in 2021, they were there after the Taliban took over. There was lots of reporting of terrible things happening, girls' schools closed, etc. I had Afghan friends phoning me when Ukraine was invaded saying, we're off the map again. We know that. And so I'm afraid to say, Western politicians tend to respond to what happens on television. And although, and this is a wider question for media sociologists, television news, the daily news bulletin, the 10 o'clock news bulletin, is much less significant than it was. When we were reporting Kosovo, we had 12 million, 15 million people watching every night. Now it's 2. When we were reporting Kosovo, we had 12 million, 15 million people watching every night. Now it's 2. The space for the kind of really impactful reporting that breaks through nowadays has changed. But in '98, the reason why, long answer to your question, the reason why Kosovo had its place, why editors cared, was because they knew what NATO was doing. They knew that it mattered. But also because I have to say, the pictures were really compelling. And the stories were, people were very, very willing to talk to us. We got quite a lot of access to the Serb side. We were taken out in Serb helicopters. We had pictures of, what the Serbs were doing as well. I think because of what had happened in Kosovo, there was a broad literacy, about, the Serbian army killing civilians is something that people sort of knew was around in the world. So I think there was this sense of among the viewing public who were literate about the region. There was a Serbian army.
Boss,
there was a Serbian army doing something bad again. There was a, and you had look. I have to say, principally through the courage and ingenuity of Vaughan Smith, we secured access to the KLA, who were very unwilling to talk to journalists originally. They were very suspicious of Western journalists. They didn't have a media policy. They'd emerged, as suddenly quite a successful insurgency after Prekash, which of course was a huge recruiting tool for them.